If you're bored with your makeup routine, need a little spring, summer refresh, or simply just want some ideas on how to use makeup you never touch, you came to the right place because today I'm going to be sharing with you all of my current favorite beauty trends of the season that should cost you $0. So by the end of this video, you should be reminded of products that you already own, or I'll give you ideas on some of my favorite products that can help you achieve the same look. And I know some of y'all are big haters on trends, but personally, I love a good beauty trend. I do think trends in beauty are a bit different because there are a million different ways that you can achieve a look with a million different products. But if you are one of those people, let me know in the comments below your thoughts and opinions because as always, I want to hear them. Just keep it nice, please. I'm sensitive. Starting off with the hottest trend of the season. That's kind of a cringe phrase, no? This is the hottest trend of the season. Who says? Me. I say butter yellow shadow and liner. I think in general, butter yellow is the trend for the spring. At least. I don't know about the summer, but for the spring, butter yellow seems to be the color. I first saw the shade kind of trending when the, what is it called? Like the KitchenAid mixer revealed their butter yellow mixer. That's what it's called. I don't know. As you can tell, I don't bake. It was very underwhelming. And I do like the color butter yellow. But then it kind of crept into the beauty world, and I have been seeing this idea of butter yellow everywhere. And leave it up to us to rebrand a color and name it after something edible, because we do that every single year. And you know what? My old self would be complaining that it's dumb, but my new self, I'm trying not to be a hater anymore, okay? I really am trying not to be a hater anymore. So with that being said, if we have to rebrand something to make our life more interesting, I'm a fan. Why not? In all seriousness though, butter yellow, I will try it. I'll try the butter yellow eyeliner, the eyeshadow. As you can tell, I've been experimenting with colorful eyeshadow. I was a little too scared to wear yellow eyeshadow today, so I didn't, but I will eventually experiment with it, and if I like it, I'll wear it on video. The closest thing to yellow is gonna be green for me because I know I like the way I look with green. I think my main takeaway from this trend that I like the most is not the fact that we are rebranding and renaming a color into something edible. It is the concept of pastel colors, which has always been trending. Every spring pastel colors come back in trend, but this is me trying to remind you to take out that pastel palette that you bought last spring or 2 springs ago when you thought it would be perfect for the spring and you just never picked it up again. This is the time, y'all. Pick up your ColourPop palettes, your Natasha Denona pastel palette, your Glamlight palette, and wear some butter yellow because spring and summer is the time for those colors. Life is just simply too short to be boring, okay? I think this is currently my favorite trend of the year so far. Of course, we're not even halfway through the year because it just forces me to kind of go into the eyeshadows I bought that I never wear. And I love how simple it is. You don't have to do like this full-blown, you know, fancy, creative, skilled eyeshadow look. You can just pick a color, make it into an eyeliner, wear it as an eyeliner, or you can pick a color and wash it all over your lids. So I've been diving into a lot of my older colorful Glamlight palettes and my ColourPop palettes. Those are the only colorful shadows that I own. I have this blue icy palette right here. I think these are all discontinued, unfortunately, but I wore this in one of my recent videos. If you have blue eyeshadow, you don't need this palette. Use your blue eyeshadow, but this was the palette that I was using. Today I used the Glamlight Dirty Martini palette, one of my favorite green palettes, actually my only green palette I think. So on my lids I used the shade Green Olive, and I also used on the outer corners Dry Vermont, and then as a liner, I use Extra Dirty. And under it, as a base, I use the About Face Fluid Eye Paint, and this is in the shade Vertigo Flowers. If you want to do colorful pastel liner, I do think About Face is the go-to brand because they're fairly inexpensive. You can usually get them on sale at Ulta. If you have a coupon, which they're always giving out coupons, they have a lot of pastel colors. I find them to be really easy to work with, mostly long lasting. They do dry a little bit faster than the Danessa Myricks eye paints, but the pastel colors are unmatched in about face. There is a bit of a learning curve with these because if you apply too much, they can crack. So don't go too hard too fast. Use it the way that you would with paint, which is layering it one by one and building up the color. Great liners, but also a really great base. Because of this trend, I've gotten use out of all of my colorful about face eye paints that have been sitting in my drawer for I don't know how long. I don't want to think about it. But in my last video, I wore Replicant, and then I also wore, what is this one called? New Karma, I think, potentially in a video. These are like some of my 3 favorite pastel colors, and I can wear them as liner, which I'm actually going to try to do. Maybe I'll buy butter yellow, or maybe not. If I can't make the butter yellow shade somehow out of what I already own, I just might buy the About Face yellow pastel paints because I think that would look beautiful. However, before you do that, you can also make your powder eyeshadows into eyeliner. If you do have a certain mixing medium, you should be able to experiment with that first before you buy anything new. The pastel shadow palette that I have is the ColourPop Winx Club, which I bought not too long ago. I had been eyeing this for so freaking long, and I think I ended up getting this on a sale. They have the butter yellow right here. I will say it almost looks white on my eyes, so you have to have a very specific base. I think that I would need a yellow base to really bring out the pastel yellow in this. Anyways, you get my gist. This trend has inspired me to get more use out of all of my colorful palettes, so that's what I'm doing. And a similar trend that falls under the pastels are blue eyeshadows. So of course you can do pastel blue eyeshadows, but in this photo and also on Elle Canada, it seems like that blue jean eyeshadow is a trend. So not really like that dark hued blue, but more of that soft, basically pastel blue. I personally don't see this catching on in real life. I would see more people wearing color as eyeliner because it's a little bit easier to experiment with. I don't think blue has fully caught on yet, but I see it catching on sometime between the spring and summer because it's just fresh, it's new, and not necessarily the color is new. For example, an icy blue shade was trending in the 90s, a bright blue shade I think was the 80s. So for us, I think it's going to be that pastel blue. And I honestly think that blue looks good on everybody. I can't think of anyone who wouldn't look good in blue. So I see this happening and I'm very excited for it because I think it's a lot of fun. Now, I personally prefer a matte pastel eyeshadow look. I think it just makes your eyes pop, and especially on camera and photos, there's just something about matte pastel eyeshadow that looks really cool. But if you are a shimmery person, you can try out shimmery pastels. And I really like the photos of these shimmery pastel vibes because I find it to be very ethereal, kind of out of this world galaxy. And if you're into that, by all means, have fun with it. I'm not a sparkly girl, but I am willing. I'm willing to try. These makeup looks remind me a lot of my Danessa Myricks Lightwork volume. I think this is the 6th Freedom palette. I don't know my Roman numerals. This Lightwork palette has a lot of the same vibes, so maybe I'll use it as inspiration to play around with it. On Harper's Bazaar, they suggested to do a pop of shimmer. I'm here for it. Pop of shimmer on the eyes, pop of shimmer on the cheeks. I like that. It's more of a strategic kind of shimmer placement, which I'm here for because I'm not into like the glitter bomb look, but the pictures on Instagram look really cool, but I feel like that's more for like photos. If I were to wear all of that shimmer and highlight in person, which I have by the way, I would look insane. But if you have the confidence to pull it off, girl, do it for me. And speaking of shimmer, let's talk about disco lips according to Harper's Bazaar. First of all, let me just comment Harper's Bazaar on this gorgeous photo collage with Miley Cyrus in the middle. Have you heard Miley Cyrus's new music? Because I love it. They have a whole article on disco lips, and you know what? I don't blame them because I am here for the disco lips. I thought that this was going to be a temporary trend during the holidays when all of the shimmery, glittery lip glosses were launching. It very much is a holiday kind of trend, but I'm excited to see this branching out into the spring or summer season because it does give festival season. I give that to Harper's Bazaar, they're right. It's giving festival. It's giving transition your shimmer from your eyes to your lips. And I have seen a lot of brands launch these glittery lipsticks and such, which of course have always been a thing. But I'm specifically talking about Half Magic, which they're known for their glittery, sparkly, dark lighting makeup. Half Magic does have a really beautiful shimmery lip gloss, and it doesn't have that gritty glitter texture to it. I will say it's not the most sparkliest. It's not as sparkly as it want it to be, but it's still beautiful. They also recently launched their glittery lipstick, which I am so interested in buying to try. If you want a review, let me know. I also have the ABH glitter lip glosses. I have the shade in Amber Sparkle and Honey Diamond. I got these during the holidays. They're super glittery. They're also really sticky, so if you don't like sticky glosses, stay away, but they will help you achieve that disco lip that you want. There's also brands that have glitter lip toppers, which I think is really cool. Wonder Skin sent me this in PR, and it is just a glitter gloss topper. It's their Wonder Blading Top Gloss in gold. This is so... Can I put it on now? Do you see that? You see how it adds that like shine? You can't see the glitter from here, and I don't want to apply too much because I kind of wasn't expecting to wear a glittery lip today. But I think I prefer the glitter topper over buying a glitter gloss. So I'll link this in the description if you're interested. But if you don't want to buy a glitter lip gloss, you really don't have to. You can just make your own. Take a clear lip gloss that you like, that you don't mind mixing with something else. You can put that on the back of your hand. Take a shimmery eyeshadow, mix it together, or you can put shimmer into the gloss. I would just be very careful about what shimmer and glitter you're using. Please do it at your own risk because it is going to be going around your mouth, so you want to make sure it's safe to put near your mouth. I have also just put clear gloss on my lips, taken an eyeshadow and a highlighter, and just dabbed it all over my lips for that shimmery disco vibe. Ooh, another example of a glittery lip launch is the Fenty Beauty Lip Balm Glitter launch. Fenty Beauty, Makeup Forever, SMI Beauty, Valentino Beauty all have launched these very iridescent, glittery lip gloss, lip balm formulas. There's a million you can choose from. Okay? Or you can just make your own. Even though I'm not a fan of glittery cheeks or glittery eyeshadow as much, I do like a good glittery lip. So I will 100% be participating in this trend. My next favorite spring summer beauty trend actually leads me to the sponsor of today's video, YESSTYLE. YESSTYLE is an online retailer that sells a variety of Asian beauty products, including K-beauty lip tints, which is actually trending right now. And we all predicted this, of course, at this point. I think that the style of Korean lip tints and blurred lips is in for the spring summer season. I've seen it on Allure, Marie Claire, Instagram, Elle, Harper's Bazaar, all talking about these blurred, blotted lips, which has been very, very popular in Korea for a while now. Now, some of these articles are calling it like tulip pink lips or petal lips. Again, another way to just refresh and rebrand something that has already been done. But aside from that, the overall technique for this trend is just to have a very dark kind of inner pigment on the lips that's stained, and then blur on the outer parts of your lips to give it this really soft focus effect. I personally, on my skin tone, do not like the style of makeup because I just have a lot of pigmentation and I think it makes me look really strange. But I do think that this looks amazing on a particular person, especially if you are of a lighter skin tone. I'm 100% gonna stick to my lip liners, but I love a good lip stain. I love a good lip tint. So I'm going to share with you some of my favorites that you can get at YESSTYLE. So you can choose either a blurred matte blotted lip if you prefer, or you can choose a very juicy red popsicle tinted lip. So if you are interested in that blurred lip look, I do think K-beauty has some incredible ones for really great price, and some US brands have just started catching on, but they're usually more expensive. So if you want a cheaper alternative, I would highly recommend the Peri Para Ink Velvets. These are so pigmented, so easy to work with. They double as a blurring liquid blush. There's a million colors that these come in, and I don't find them drying. I also really like this brand, which is actually a lot more expensive. It's the Musicae or Musicae Mansion. Oh gosh, I should have probably checked how to pronounce that before I filmed this video. But this is very matte and it leaves a gorgeous long-lasting stain. The only thing is that it has a strong smell of roses, which I don't like, but other than that, the formula I would say is worth the money. Now, if you prefer more of a juicy, glossy popsicle lip tint, I have a lot of favorites because K-Beauty is abundant in glossy lip tints, okay? We have Peri Para, Wake Make, Lily by Red, and Tear Tear. I love all of these. They don't dry out my lips. They stain beautifully. You can achieve that Korean tulip petal lip technique if you want, or you can wear it the way that I do, which is all over my lips and sometimes with a lip liner. So again, you do not need to buy any of these products to participate in this trend. If you already have a lip stain, you can take a lipstick that you already own, use your fingers to kind of blur it around your lips. But if you are on the hunt to finding your favorite lip tints, then you can use my code LCHU12 to get 12% off of $59 or more at YESSTYLE. And we're gonna talk about trends without talking about blush, because we are still in our blush era. The 2020s, we're gonna be blushed out after this decade, alright? It seems like the Sunset Orange blended blush has come back in trend, which is really no surprise here. This is the technique of blush where you apply two different colors. You can mix red and orange to get this really bright sunset colored blush, which I think is really pretty. I actually don't think I participated in this last year, so it's definitely new to me, and I will be experimenting because at the Sephora sale, which I will be doing a video about, I recently bought the Danessa Myricks cream blush in the shade Bellini, and it looks exactly like the photo. And then I also have the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Dream Pop blush, red, orange, we can mix that together. That is kind of scary to me, I'm not going to lie, but I'll try anything once, see if I like it. I also really like this look in general because it is very bold in a lot of ways. The blush is very striking, but they still did a red lip, and for some reason it works. I think on me I would feel like a clown, but it looks gorgeous on her. Oh wait, that is so funny. In the article from Marie Claire, they linked the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Blush. It is a good blush, y'all. It is. Now, you don't necessarily need to try to achieve the sunset blush because some of you might absolutely hate this color on your skin tone, and I'm a little scared that this might be a little too orange and red for me. But the takeaway from this trend is just to mix your blushes together. Have fun experimenting with your liquid blushes specifically, or layer on liquid and cream blushes, which I do all the time. So if you're bored and you only have like 2 different blushes, mix them together. Mix them with a liquid eyeshadow and see what color you get. Literally just play around with your makeup as if you are an artist, and you might find your next new favorite blush combo. And last but not least, the bright pink blush. We have not outgrown it. I do think that this is an all-year, decade-long trend because of Miss Sabrina Carpenter. I'm gonna give her all of the credit there. Pink blush is what I have been searching for, and I think I found it. On my cheeks, I use the Huda Beauty blush filter. This is the shade Ube Cream. It smells so freaking good, y'all. I can't get over it. What does it smell like? Bubblegum, I think. Also, the formula is freaking incredible. It is nearly the most perfect lilac shade for my skin tone, where it does give that soft pink flesh hue. My issue is that I'm not super tan, nor am I super pale. So sometimes purple blushes will be too white on me, or purple blushes will look hot pink on me, which is not what I'm trying to achieve. I've only tried this a couple of times, but I think this might be the one to achieve that Sabrina Carpenter soft pink vibe, which I'm really excited about. And on top of that, on my cheeks today, just to make it a little bit more warm because I am wearing green, I did apply on the YSL Make Me Blush in the shade 06, which is literally just a soft rosy pink. Nothing crazy about it. And it gave me this color. At this point, I think we all know that bright pink blush is nothing new. It's not a new idea or concept for most of us, but this is mainly, I put this in here for those of you who are playing it too safe. Yes, I'm talking to you who barely wear blush. I think it's time. I think it's time to Sabrina Carpenter-fy It's not a word. I think it's time to bright pink blushify your life. And I think it's time to go a little crazy. Maybe look like a clown every once in a while. Who knows? You might like it. It won't hurt. I promise you. If you wear a little too much blush. That's the point. Trust me, you'll be fine. All right, so those were my beauty trend reactions for spring, summer 2025. Personally, my favorite ones, a lot of them are not new. At this point, we know that trends aren't new, but they're just some ideas in case you're bored and want to try something new and fresh. Don't get me wrong though, I do have a lot of spring, summer trends that I hate and will not be participating in. Stay tuned for that video next because it's gonna be a good one. So do not forget to subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed. Thank you to YESSTYLE for sponsoring yet another video. And as always, I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye!